It's the second elimination final from VFL Park. 7 Sport presents AFL Live, Geelong versus St Kilda. After their near miss in 1989, the Cats must fancy their chances this year. For the Saints, it's an historic occasion. The first finals appearance since 1973. Yes, and welcome to Waverley. Magnificent scenes here for this second elimination final between Geelong and St Kilda. One of 2 AFL finals being played today. The other, the qualifying final, later this afternoon at Subiaco, and that's between West Coast and Hawthorn. Yesterday, the elimination final, the first one, the cutthroat one, like this one today, Melbourne successful after being behind Essendon at half-time, coming home to win 17-11, 113 to 11-9, 75 by 38 points. A terrific crowd here today, as you'd expect, close to full. We reckon nearly 75,000 people, and both teams have run out on the ground in near perfect conditions for what should be one of the highlights of the season. They've both been in terrific form this year, Geelong finishing 3rd, St Kilda 4th. This is cutthroat. The big news is that Hooper and Neild are both out there for Geelong, and that Darcy and Burke are not playing. There have been lots of rumours all day. For the winner, it's an outstanding success into the second semi-final, and the double chance. For the loser, it's curtains for the season. Geelong played in that 1989 grand final. The last twice they've played this season, it's been the Cats both times, 18-22 to 16-8 at Kardinia Park, and then 18-8 to 9-13-67. But the man we saw on screen a moment ago, Tony Lockett, didn't play much of a part. Certainly in the first game he wasn't there. In the second game he kicked just 2 goals. Danny Frawley's 28th birthday today. It could be a big celebration. Peter McKenna and Bernie Quinlan join us, and the big news, 2 changes for the Cats.
Yeah, it's bad luck to Geelong, Bruce, but Bernie, the battle of the 2 great forward lines really, but Geelong probably with better midfield players.
Yes, well, that's been the case over the last couple of weeks. They've performed very well. Especially last week against Collingwood when the pressure was really on. If we look at the teams from the back line, Rogers has earned the job on Lockett, as Malcolm Blight said a few weeks ago. I don't know whether I really like that honour, Pete.
No, it'll be a tough job, that. But as we go to the half-back lines, I think Spencer will line up centre-half forward, and Stoneham will take the big job on Stuart Lowe, and what a clash that will be.
Yeah, no doubt. Gary Ablett named in the centre. He did start there last week against Collingwood. Newport, a renowned tagger, has had finals experience.
And they've got Stoneham lining up there. As I said, I think Trevor Spencer will go there on Russell Morris, the former Hawthorn player. David Grant is a terrific player in the half-back for St Kilda.
And Billy Brownless here, he was fantastic again last week against Collingwood, against Frawley, who was 28, of course, today, as Bruce mentioned.
And I don't think we should underestimate Hooper. Hooper against Vidovic. Hooper played a great game against the West Coast over there in Perth. But look, Couch and Hocking and Gregg and Craven, well, honours there will definitely, I think, go with Geelong.
Interchange, Denham and Malacala for Geelong, and Devonport and Nixon for St Kilda.
So they're the teams, those changes to Geelong, Gary Ablett and Tony Lockett, 2 of the superstars here today. Will Ablett turn it on like he did in 1989, or will the big plugger do something quite special? Gerard Healy and Ross Glendinning are on the boundary and in the dressing rooms today. We take a break from Waverley, back with the first bounce after this.
On Monday morning, while Richard Wiley...
Waverley, Geelong, the unanimous selection from the commentators today. Those selections done before we knew that Burke was definitely not playing, and also Darcy, but they must remain the favourites. Let's join Gerard Healy, who's down on the boundary line for the Mitsubishi Motors ground report. Gerard.
Yes, thanks, Bruce. Well, we had plenty of rain overnight, but we've woken for perfect conditions here at Waverley for the big elimination final. If you have a look at the Mitsubishi Motors weatherometer, we see we've got a current temperature of just over 16 degrees with an expected top of 17 degrees. Humidity is currently 55%. There's a 15-kilometre wind blowing from right to left of your screen, straight down the middle of the ground for a 2-goal advantage. The ground's in pretty good condition, although quite spongy, particularly on the perimeter. And the forecast is for a fine afternoon with sunny areas.
Thanks for that, Gerard. Lockett, Lowe and McAdam, 3 of the big stars for the Saints. Our umpires today are Peter Cameron and Rowan Saws. Peter in his 19th final, Rowan's 24th. 2 of the most experienced umpires in the game. And Bernie Quinlan, they may need that experience. It could be a fiery opening, this one, as we see Burke and Darcy looking on.
Yeah, well, they're a big loss, those 2, Damien Burke and Tim Darcy. Tim Darcy played very well last week. Damien Burke, probably the form ruckman in the competition this season. But 12 of this Geelong side, well, make it 10 now because of the 2 players that are out. 12 of the Geelong players with finals experience. They did play in the grand final in 1989.
Stoneham has gone on to Stuart Lowe, as we predicted, Bruce. Trevor Spencer is down at centre half forward.
Harding's got Brownless. So we watch for any changes. There's Stoneman and Lowe. There's Harding and Brownless. Rowan Saw's just looking around, making that everything's settled. Vidovic to do the ruck work against Hooper. Couch is there with Winmar. Greg. Newport's got Bairstow. And Hocking also in the centre square. It looks like Greg might have him.
Yeah, Greg's got the tagging job on Gary Hocking.
Malcolm Blight looking on. Vidovic. Geelong to the left. St Kilda to the right. Full house at Waverley. Second elimination final. Vidovic goes early. Hooper first tap. Couch handball to Bairstow from the centre square. A high one. Going early, Grant. No mark. Runs over the back. Spencer. A loose footy. The handball by Couch. Knocked away from Hocking by Greg. Quick kick away by the Saints. Loose ball. Ablett almost in with a chance. Coughlin tries to break a tackle. Cut. Hooper's got some time, some space. Runs through the tackle. The handball okay. Hinkley's left foot to half forward. Not good. Morris takes the first mark of the match.
Yes, Morris floating back behind Trevor Spencer. He's on half back. Really probably expect a fast and furious opening here. There's the kick to Greg. Oh, good strong mark.
He's been great the last few weeks. He's only playing in his 5th AFL game, but averaging 27 possessions.
Dean Greg with the half forward line, and it is fisted over the line, and it was a good punch by Jamie Lamb.
Also, Pete, Danny Frawley is picking up Gary Ablett, and Ken Hinkley's got Nicky Winmar.
We saw Ricky Nixon and Tim Pekin starting on interchange then. Nathan Burke to the half forward line. Lamb in front. Free kick or a mark. In fact, it was a push in the back. But Lamb playing against his former club. 2 players playing for Geelong, formerly of St Kilda, Sean Simpson and Jamie Lamb. So they'll be very keyed up for this game. The kick to the centre of the ground. Players set themselves. It hits the deck, crashing his way through to Spiro Malakalis with pace and strength. Well done as he brings it to the half forward line. It's kicked away out of defence by Burke. Oh, it was Kane Taylor, in fact, and a good mark taken by Vidovic on centre wing.
Sweeps a handball. Devonport tries to break the tackle. Steadies. Drop punt to centre half forward. Too far for Hooper, though. He's got back. Low against him. McAdam. Over the top. Was it a throw? Newport on his left side. Strong kick to Lockett. Will it bounce? Lockett with strength. Wonderful strength. The kick. Touched on the line by Hinkley.
Yes, great anticipation, Bruce, by Kenny Hinkley. It was a certain goal, but Peter McKenna's boy, he lights him for the Brownlow. He raced in there. It was a tremendous save by Kenny Hinkley.
And what strength by Lockett to set himself up as Rogers goes straight towards Hooper.
He's looking for Hooper, as you said, to Steve Hocking. Hocking read that well. Goes inside with a hand pass. This is Sean Simpson to the half-forward line. Ablett versus Frawley. Frawley left the mark and he can't. Ablett, the danger man. Taps it wide. David Grant chips in. Hand pass. Finds Craven and the little rover, Danny Craven, brings it to the half-forward line. Winmar versus Hinkley. Hinkley beaten for that by Winmar. Brilliant skills by the half-forward. Here's Stewie Lowe. He couldn't take it. What's some great clashes going on here. Stoneham wide to centre wing, and he's found Couch. These midfield players for Geelong, they're the keys to this game.
Brownlow medalists from 89 towards half forward. Here's Ablett again. Crowd roars every time he gets near it. Round his body with a high one. Brownless pushed out by Harding. Takes the mark.